Hi guys,
We're back.
we're back. All right, so what's today's
Dynamic
topic?
trio.
Today's topic is the difference between low and high. What's it called?
Huh?
I had it in the tip of my tongue. High and low difference between the properties. Value. there you go.
All right, what's up, everyone?
Yeah, what is the price difference? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
No, the difference between investing in low end properties, difference than high.
Than high value.
What's the difference?
Low value and high value.
Yeah.
Low value and high
Okay, what's
value
the pros and
investment.
cons of investing in low value property versus high value property?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about single family homes or multifamily.
Well, let's
can
talk
do
about
both.
single family
Yeah.
because then we can get too crazy if we talk about multifamily, commercial, and different types of real estate. Let's talk about single family so we can keep it short and give as much information as possible.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about multifamily next week.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I
we
mean-
can talk about whatever we want next week. Whatever floats
Today,
our
later
boat.
on, all
Alright.
that stuff.
Okay. So why would you purchase a single family house as an investment if it's let's define that first. Why would you buy a single family to invest in it?
Well,
So why would you?
the only reason is to add value somehow, and adding value is fixing it up or adding some square footage, and updating it, so then you can create extra equity to pull out of it after the sale of the property. Or the other option is rent it out after you fix it up, and then you can get some income. So those two options in investing in single family. And the difference between low end and high end is I recommend everyone to start with low end, right? If they're going to do a home flip as a single family home, they have to start with low end.
Why not? Why not the
What-
high value property?
Yeah, like what's the difference? Or yeah, what's the difference between a low and a high? Like, how do you compare them both? How do you know
Well,
which
in
one?
California, the median household is $1 million. It's a crazy number. It sounds high all over the United States,
Yeah.
except for California.
I think it's normal.
Yeah, so I would define a high end property as above $1 million, way above $1 million, and a low end property under $1 million, right? What would you say?
Right. I would say probably like $500,000 homes in California, like Southern California. I would say.
That's tough to find right now. $500,000 home in
Unless they're all
Southern
beat up,
California.
yeah.
Riverside. San
Riverside, yeah.
Yeah.
We had one in, what is it? Norco? For like 5 something.
Yeah, but that was 600,000.
Yeah. So I mean, if you go to Riverside and San Fran, you could still find them.
You can.
Somewhere out there in the
But
desert.
why would you buy those to invest in it?
Well, it's easier. It's much easier than a high end property because there's so much that goes into a high end property. You know, from design features to the buyer wants certain amenities rather than necessities. So I think in single family homes on the low end, you're working more with necessities. And then on the high end, you're working more with amenities. You're going to have to add luxury items. You're going
Yeah.
to get that sale price, which is going to cost you more money. It definitely will give you more money on the back end also.
Yeah, because
you can make more money,
Yeah.
but you have to be have some experience. And I recommend for a beginner investor to start on the low end, so they can get some practice. And it's a different ball game on the high end. I had to learn different trades and different different shortcuts on fixing up, doing that transition from low end to high end. I had to make some mistakes because I was doing low end fixes on a high end property and understanding that that's not going to get you the value for
That
that
you need
property.
the property.
And you're going to get less buyers because they're looking for amenities rather than necessities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give an example then.
Between an amenity and a necessity.
Right.
Well, a necessity on a low end property, you're going to go in and fix the plumbing, you're going to fix the roof, you're going to put an AC in there, and you're going to do what needs to be done only. And it's called lipstick on a pig, kind of, is what we call it. It's like a quick flip. On a high end, you're going to have to start thinking about amenities like pools,
Adding the additional stuff that people want in a house.
additional amenities, meaning
not luxury, but in a sense, a luxury.
Exactly. You're gonna have to think about landscaping. You're gonna have to think about like even adding a pool.
Yeah.
So how about
What
this?
else?
Let's say if you have
Balconies.
15-year-old kitchen cabinets with a tile top. If you had a low-end property, would you rip that out or keep it?
It depends on how low and median and where your level is. If you're talking about San Bernardino and that's our low, where you can catch a house for about $300,000-$400,000, yeah, I would probably think about keeping it and reglazing it, or just keeping the cabinets and just redoing the top. Something just for just to get by and make it upgraded. Because the low end buyers are not looking for amenities.
Yeah.
They're looking for necessities. They're looking
Yeah.
for a place to lay their head down and a roof over their head so they can go to work in the morning
then
and keep
come back
everyone
home.
safe and come back home to a safe home. On the high end side, they're looking for, entertaining. They're looking for showing off. They're looking for, they worked hard for it. They deserve
Yeah.
it, right?
Let me get technical now.
Yeah, get
What if you
technical.
had a Formica
Get
top,
From on which, low end or high end?
low end? Oh, high end, of course, you're gonna have to rip it. But let's say Formica top on the low end house.
I'm taking it off.
I'm taking it off.
Yes,
Formica.
because if we want to add value, you're gonna have to add value. You're gonna have to make it look updated.
Yeah,
I think-
making it more modern.
I
up
think
to
it
date.
depends on how much you want to sell for. Let's say if your target market is, let's say, $300,000, then I'll keep it. If your target market is, let's say, $600,000, then I'll consider ripping it.
Take it down.
I would say if your goal is to buy and hold it, yeah, you might be able to get away with keeping it. But if your goal is to resell it, I like an updated property to have look sparkling, brand
Yeah.
new. You know what I mean?
Like have a new
even
look
if
to it
it's-
in a sense.
There's different styles of floor. You can get flooring from $1 up to $20 per square foot. And you know what I mean? You just got to find that level that you're at and then put that kind of flooring in it. And then same with countertops. There's countertops that are cheap, and then there's very expensive marbles that
I
you can
love
buy.
marbles, yeah.
Exactly. You can go from mica to quartz to marble to, anything, even the tile, there's so many different countertops. And then that's on every section of the house, like flooring, countertop, cabinets, vanities, plumbing accessories, tile. You can go all different prices on all these items.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
I had a listing in San Bernardino that was like about 7-8 years ago. Okay. And these homes were selling for like $200,000. Okay.
Wow.
Single family homes. Okay. Now, this investor wanted to unload like 7 or 8 homes in San Bernardino. He picked them up for like $550,000 each. Okay. Back in the days. Now he was renting them out. He wants to unload them. So I got all the 7 or 8 listings and I sold them all. But see, this was a low end. Okay. And one of these properties was not selling for $200,000. And one of the reasons why is because the kitchen cabinets had a missing door.
Yeah.
Okay. So kitchen cabinets, it's probably like 20 years old, Formica top. Your market was like $200,000. What would you have done to fix the issue?
Put up the doors.
Just a door or new kitchen cabinet?
Well, it depends. If they're that old, I would say do the whole kitchen. Not the whole kitchen, but put new kitchen. And if it's something that we can work with and salvage, I would just put the door.
What would you have done?
For what? Their problem, or what would I have done
Missing
in the
the door.
beginning?
I mean, kitchen cabinets with the missing door. You know how hard it is to find the matching door?
Oh, you're talking about the front,
Yeah.
the fronts of the cabinets.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
you
the
can
doors.
buy fronts for
No,
the
but
cabinets.
it
Oh,
was
but
so
it's
old.
matching. Yeah,
it was
never
so
mind.
old.
I would
You
change
could not
the-
find the matching door.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What would you have
Replace
done?
all the fronts.
Just replace all doors.
Yeah.
Replace
the
all doors?
Yeah.
Replace all the fronts. Paint the cabinet bases. Paint the cabinet doors whatever color you want, and replace all the doors.
Guess what I did?
What did you do?
Take it a lot.
No. We found a piece of wood panel, right? Just
And
piece of
close
wood
it.
and put our hinges, and then put it up there, painted it,
So you made your own door.
sold for full door. So well, we didn't even. It wasn't even look like a door. It was just flat of a wood piece.
And that's it.
So what he did was repair. He built a new door for the cabinet.
Right. So we sold it for full price
Okay.
with that kitchen cabinets. I'm like,
I guess it all depends on. Yeah, I guess for certain
that's like
people,
low end.
They're looking for
they're looking
necessity.
for necessity.
Yeah.
They're
Like
looking-
if you have like, let's say for a family with a bunch of kids, they're obviously gonna look for necessity stuff. Like they're not gonna go for the overly. I need a movie theater. I need a pool. I need this. I need that.
They were buying houses with a $2,000 down.
Yeah.
But
They're
again, how long ago was that?
That's the difference. People are
7,
looking,
8, 9 years
people
ago.
look for a place to live, or people look for
Yeah.
a place to enjoy. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's the difference, I think, in high end and
Yeah.
low end. And in investment side, I think it's a different skill also. On the high end, it's easier to lose money on the high end side, and it's also you can make more money. So it's like best of both worlds. It's like you can
Right.
lose big or you can win big.
Yeah. What do you guys go more towards? Like the higher
Low
end
end.
or the low end?
Low end is bread and butter. You know, so you can get them and turn them
And
fast.
then just
And also you have more buying pool, so there's more buyers coming to you, and also you can get them done quicker.
Yeah.
Which your money out there, less time is the best thing. And yeah, I would go for low end
yeah.
than
I
anything.
think in LA, like yeah, I mean here in LA, I think it's better to go lower, because again, a lot of people, I wouldn't say they make money, but they're not willing to spend that much money on a home if they really wanted to. Then sure,
Yeah.
but they usually go for the lower.
But there's some people that just don't care in California about
Yeah.
how much they're spending, and that's those high end people, and they're gonna be looking for things
All
that
the
catch them,
amenities,
their
yeah.
amenities, things that make them like,
I would- yeah.
I need this house because it has this feature.
Yeah.
You know, not
Like my
like
deal breaker would be a kitchen. I need a nice kitchen
a nice kitchen.
with a big island, marble countertops. I don't care about no tiles.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. So you're just like all buyers. They would just come in. And usually, buyers will come in even to a low end property
Mm-hmm.
and customize it to their likings and specifics, which is a homeowner, which
Yeah.
is most homeowners do. It depends on how much money they have behind them to see
That's where they're-
those touches.
Yeah.
And then they have to save money to do changes, later on down the line. But yeah, what else? What else we got?
What about the high end? I don't think we
High
talked
end.
about
Yeah.
the reason why you would buy high end single family home as an investment.
Well,
What's the problem?
like I said, there is more money to be made. There is more money to be made if you have those certain set of skills.
But they're more riskier too.
Of course, everything with more money and more time is more risk. It is more risk, but it is, if you have those skills, like I'm saying, there's so much potential. Now, here's the best thing about it. You can hire those skills. Like some people try to do everything themselves. With a high-end property, depending on how high-end and what area, you should hire a designer.
Yeah.
Which you know, in $2 million property, a designer can cost you upwards of $40,000. And I mean, you make that expense and you make it part of your purchase,
Yeah.
because part of your rehab costs.
Yeah. Because
You're gonna have to get that extra, and that designer is gonna give you that wow factor. And that's what's gonna sell a high-end house. Now, if you just work on amenities and you buy a high-end house, you will not sell it. You know, it's just going to sit on the market because you're not going to capture those big money clients. And there's a house right down the road that has a pool with a water slide and all the good stuff that they're going to be like, I want that rather than that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very difficult, but you just got to be prepared and understand where you're buying, understand what you're buying and who you're buying for, you know?
She has a question.
So you know how we are actually talking about a low risk and a high risk this property today, right? So for example, there's a $2 million budget.
No, you wanna come up here?
Let's see there.
Come speak into the microphone.
Maybe she should sit here. Grab her.
Check
grab
it out.
We'll switch out.
Just stand there.
Just go over.
Go over.
So, you know, right, can you see me? Can you see me? It's a little slow there. So how we're talking about high risk and a low risk investment property.
Right.
For example, like Maria's looking for, you have a budget of 2 million. Let's compare it because this happens a lot. So we're just buying investment property, $2 million budget. You can do
전부예요.
fourplex, like 4 units for 2 million. You can do duplex for 2 million. You can do duplex easily in La Brea or Los Feliz area.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and the single family for 2 million.
Okay.
Investment property we're talking, just to collect. So you have to look at the cap rate, the rent, all that. So most people buy fourplex, 4 units,
Okay.
or 2 million because in case someone moves, there's a lot of reasons.
Absolutely.
So, and 2 million for duplex. So 1 unit is about $1 million each, if you sort of calculate it.
Yeah.
So like we're talking about low risk, high risk. Can you use that example? And
Yes. Well,
that way
that's
the-
going to
you know,
be
people
lower
can-
risk. The more units you have,
Right, of course.
it's going to be bring the risk down. 2 units, bring the risk down a little bit
I
more.
think everyone knows that.
4 units,
Right.
we don't know the level of the investors.
Right.
Like we're trying to teach beginners
Sure,
also.
sure.
So we just want to let them know, yeah, of course, the unit count is a big factor in your
Right.
in your income.
Vacancies and, you know, in
Yeah,
case.
in California, vacancies is a big thing also
Very.
because we have rent control over here. And it depends also on the end goal of the investor. What is the end goal? Does he want a rental unit or does he want just a flip? Because high end in LA, you know, it's difficult on the multifamily. There are areas like Beverly Hills that you can get high end multifamily also. Those cap rates are very low.
Very low.
They're like 3%.
Sometimes, like, yeah, you don't really make anything.
You won't.
So I think we should
just a
talk
good
about
place.
like a low risk and a high risk.
Yeah, high-end areas is invested in because of the appreciated value of the property, not necessarily for the cash flow.
Or
Because
rent.
cash flow really sucks in the high-end areas.
And it's also a good place to hold your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like rich people, they will buy Beverly Hills fourplex, even if it's not making much money, just to put their money in out of their bank account, out of cash, and just to hold equity. You know what I mean?
Right. So I think a lot of people are always
Yeah.
wondering, like, you know, because the budget is usually fixed. You just have different property to choose from, sort of, right? Because your budget doesn't jump to like 3 million out of nowhere. So usually your budget is most of the time it's fixed, and then they just look at different types of property, and then a lot of people are dealing with, should I get like, you know, duplex or fourplex? But the answers are usually so easy to figure out.
Let me
The
tell
high
you.
risk and the low risk is sort of like what we're talking
I
today.
got perfect. If someone came with $2 million and saying, "What can I invest in?" I would tell them to diversify. Buy 4 low-end properties rather than one big investment.
Okay.
So that would be the best advice I would give that person. So now you spread it out a little bit, and now you cannot lose all your money or lose money in one investment. Rather than, I mean, a 4 unit's a great investment, but still, I would buy 4 lower-end properties rather than one
That's
high-end
one strategy
property.
to use.
I'm not against buying low-end properties as an investment, but 99% of chance this is what you're gonna run against. Investors don't want to purchase properties in an area where they don't want to live in.
Exactly. That's really happens with my clients oftentimes. Yeah.
Well, they're gonna
it's
have
hard
to take.
manage.
They're gonna have
Yeah.
to take
And
less. They're gonna have
Yeah.
to their equity and
Right.
also their income and their cap rate. Everything goes down the higher end you go, and but it becomes safer. So that's the tipping point. How safe do you want, and how much
Exactly.
return do you want?
So,
And this
I
happens,
think
right?
That's what people.
I don't know if it's
Balance.
necessarily safer.
Yeah, it's
because
safer, dude.
It's an area that you don't want to live in.
You don't
No,
want
it's
to manage
safer
it.
if you
Yeah.
if you're investing in Beverly Hills, but you're taking that investment downturn. You know, you're not making that great of an investment if you're buying a high end area.
Well, just because you're buying a house in Beverly Hills and renting it out, it doesn't mean it's gonna guarantee you that the renter is not gonna default on the payments.
It's less likely though.
That's what people
It's
think.
just safer.
That's what people think. Yeah.
That's what people think.
Right.
But I've
It's
seen a
true.
lot of
Right.
Those
cases
people
where-
out there.
COVID actually really sort
A
of
little
like,
bit, right?
yeah. But before that, it's true that tenants are much more stable financially, so it's safer.
Yeah. It's
That's what
just
people think,
safer.
yeah.
It is. It's actually by numbers. It is safer by the numbers, but you could also get bad luck and
I know,
take
of course,
take
we
a
don't know
hit.
exactly. So what would you recommend? So he's sort of like suggest the
So let me tell you this.
property.
I have 4 units in Gardena. I've had it for let's say 4 years already, and they're paying a little lower than what the market was. So I wanted to get them out. So I filed eviction, gave them a notice to vacate. They didn't want to move. And I gave them a 10% increase and they fought
They
to
fought
stay
you.
in.
Okay.
So they went to the city and complained, and the city mediated us and gave them like a 7% increase.
Okay.
And then they were able to stay there. They were the greatest renters. It's just that I'm not making the market value rent from them, but they're safe.
I think Gardena is a.
They don't want to move.
It's a decent city though.
No, what she's asking, the question is, what would you recommend for the person
Right,
that comes
right.
in with $2 million?
yeah,
Would you
yes.
recommend a high value, or would you recommend four low values like I would to that person?
I would give them different choices. Hey, this is what you're going to get from this lower end. This is what you're going to get from
Like
the
the
mid
pros
This
and
is
end.
the
cons
risk for
kind of
this
a
one,
thing.
and
Right.
this is the risk for this one.
And then
Pros
have
and
them
cons.
choose it because I'm not their mother.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, they have to
yeah,
choose,
they're going to have to
right?
choose what they
Yeah.
want.
Okay, what would you choose if you only had $2 million?
Oh, I'm buying properties in Compton.
Yeah, the low end, same as I would recommend.
You kidding me right now?
4 or 500,000.
Yeah, but the Compton is.
I want
actually-
to see the bullets flying.
Oh my god.
Oh, is it like that in Compton now?
No,
No.
no, not like that.
It's much better than the.
Yeah.
It's like Inglewood now, right?
Yeah, everything is fine.
It's changing.
Yeah.
So the actual example, like, so 4 units, duplex, single family, with $2 million, you can buy so many. You can even buy like 8 unit, I'm sure.
You
But-
can. You just got to go in a different area. It
Right.
all depends on their risk
So we're
tolerance.
talking about like
Yes.
being realistic. Like we live here in Norwalk. We have office
Yeah.
in Norwalk, and we deal with the clients in LA, in Orange County, and pretty much the clients have a similar, thinking or plan.
Yeah.
Realistically, what would you?
You know, I run into like
I think I'll probably go to LA.
I had a first-time buyer in Norwalk.
Okay.
Okay, I was like
Young?
many moons ago.
Many months ago.
Yeah, I was showing the properties and I was like, there's a great property in South LA that's a lot cheaper. Do you want to go check it out? And he said, no. I'm like, okay, you're gonna buy something in Norwalk, or you're not gonna buy something in South LA? Okay,
Okay.
whatever.
Most beginner investors are not realistic either. They want the best of both worlds. They want perfect scenario. Every investor does.
The investor that I'm dealing with, they're not really a big.
You have to ask 2 questions, and you have to write this down. You have to ask, what's your risk tolerance? Be like 1 to 100. Give me your risk
Sure.
tolerance. And the second question you need to ask is, what's your investment needs? Meaning, like, where do you want to invest, and what return are you looking for? So then you take those 2 answers, and it'll pop out an algorithm, and you will show them a couple properties, and then you'll see how serious they are. You understand? Like,
So,
okay, are they going to
I
jump
totally
on this
understand what
investment?
You're saying,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So do you want to worry a lot and make more money,
Or how
you
much
wanna have
money
a
do you want to
peaceful
make?
and then make less
Most-
money?
a lot
That's
of-
basically what it
The
is.
smartest
Money like
investors
stress.
will say, give me the biggest headache
I
and
don't
give me the
stress.
best return.
I give it to my
That's what I would
employees.
say.
Great, thank you.
I give it to my no. She was like,
I'm like stressed. He likes stress.
yeah, she's like, I like stress, but I'm like, no, I don't stress. I just give it to my employees and forget about
Yeah.
it.
No, I don't think
Well,
he sleeps. That's how I.
Yeah.
The
He should be
best,
sleeping.
Yeah.
All this investment property out there.
the best investor would say, give me the best return with the biggest headache. And that's the
Right.
opposite
Yeah,
of a
so that's
beginner
good.
investor.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the opposite of any person that says, I want to invest $2 million. If they're coming to you in the first place, that means they're a beginner investor. In my
sure,
opinion,
sure.
if they come to anyone, right? If they're not just doing it themselves, they're partnering. And
Since we're talking about
Yes,
low risk and high
of
risk, I
course.
wanted to sort of like throw out the questions and
yeah,
see your
I would
answers.
definitely ask those 2 questions. What's your tolerance level on risk, and what's your needs? Like, what
Okay.
kind of return you want to
So
make?
you would do it you would separate into 4 different
If
areas.
it was my choice with my $2 million and I'm a beginner, I'm separating it a little bit.
Beginner or not beginner, I don't think.
Well, like we just
Like
talked
in the
about.
like in the middle, okay.
Even as a perfect investor or
Experienced.
experienced investor,
Yeah.
I'm still doing the spread it out, diversify it, and also a lower end, so you're not worried about that high end design, that high end client, and the high end amenities. You're just working out about necessities, and you're gonna be doing
Okay.
quick flips. That's my recommendation, and that's what I do. Pretty much, that's
Yeah.
what you do pretty much. I do have some high-end properties because that's my way of diversifying.
When you say high end, like what's the price range?
Like above, like my sale price will be way above 2 million.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's single family home. And you know, I did that because I have so many of the low end properties. So now I'm diversifying with high end properties and bringing those in too.
So what would you buy if someone gave you $2 million to buy a property?
Well, what would you buy if you had $2 million to buy a property to invest?
I mean, because I work and then I invest money in a few different areas. So if I'm into just real estate, I'll do it more aggressively. But I would just probably buy something that I can manage easily.
Yeah.
Like less
On your own?
on my own, or depending on the area. If it's far, then I'll have to give it to someone else. But if it's like within, and you know, if I can manage it, then I'll probably get something like that, like fourplex.
You
Somewhere in
you
LA.
want something safe
That's it,
rather than a
because
big
I don't want to hit
return.
it, because this is not the
Gotcha.
only investment that I choose.
So she would
So-
come in
Like
and
LA is big. Like
Yeah.
what area of LA?
What for 2 million, you don't have much choice, but you know, somewhere close to Koreatown.
She's like, you have not a
Well,
lot of
actually, I'm
choices.
open to like Gardinas and
Yeah.
Hawthorne and Inglewood and anywhere that's happening, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Cerritos,
Up and
Norwalk.
coming areas.
Yeah, it's not hot yet, but it's like getting there. You know, anywhere like
There's something in
borderline,
Cerritos.
huh?
Cerritos don't have any multifamily.
Then
Yeah,
let me
like,
ask
Cerritos,
you.
Like they have a good single.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
another question. Would you buy something already fixed up, or would you buy something that's all needs work?
Actually, yeah, I mean that one is depending on the budget, because you need to have money to do construction, right?
Well,
Right.
problem with LA is, let's say if you're buying multifamily units and speed up, you can't fix it because there are
Yeah.
tenants living in it.
Right, right. So depending on the situation, if it's a vacant, I might buy and do it. But if it's not, then. But I want to make sure that the condition is at least a decent.
Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
workable.
Outside
With, yeah,
condition,
not
you know?
something you
Well,
Because
you-
I don't want to deal with the
Wow.
construction that much.
You shouldn't, because earlier you said that you're busy with your job and everything, and you want something no headache.
Right, like
So
two of
I would
those.
recommend you buy something fixed up already,
No
so
headache.
you don't have to touch it.
Or buy an apartment building or something.
Of course,
Like
you
a
can put a down
permanent-
payment on an apartment building, and then I would recommend go out of state. Because you're going to get more
Out of state.
return on your investment out of state, and you would hire a management company, and that $2 million would go so much further.
I mean, right now, like literally three days ago, I was at my client's house on Friday night, and he's looking for investment property. By the way, he bought a house from you like about 6 years ago,
Oh, really?
and then I bought another house for them 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It was 2016, like one he came like, okay, anyway, and he's actually an investor now too. But long story short, so he's looking for a like 1.3 to 1.5 investment property. This is probably like third or fourth one. And they're looking in El Sereno because I
To keep
bought
it.
them a
El Sereno
house.
is
I bought a house for them
Popping.
like 2 years ago.
They
Yeah.
want a
Would you go
single family home,
No, like an investment property, like multi-unit. So we're
And they
looking
wanna
like
keep
five
it.
to
And they
five
wanna
to
rent it
eight
out.
unit. Yeah,
Okay.
5 to 8 unit. So the price range is not bad. Like I said, 1.2 to 1.5. You can find anywhere from 5 to like 9 unit apartment building.
And that's a
Wow.
good investment in the long
I
run.
think it's like risk is pretty low, right? Because there's a lot of units. If like 3 of them are not paying, it's still you have 6 other units that's
The
paying,
income,
right?
yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity. And El Sereno is it's a pretty nice area.
Right.
I was just there. I drive by there a lot, and I know you have some flip properties there.
Yeah, El Sereno
It's
is
expensive now.
it's already going up. Now I'm thinking maybe East LA will be the next.
It's LA, like where? What
Like-
part?
Like between Alhambra and El Sereno
Okay.
is still priced
was-
low,
Okay. Like
and that's the only area that I see that could go up in price.
because it's still low.
Right, it's still low.
El Sereno is pretty high now. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
square footage, like you can easily
I
find
like 2-3 years ago it was like $800,000, $700,000. Now it's
Right.
up $1 million.
Right, but I helped the client buy a house at that time. It's still pretty good,
Right.
but now it's much higher.
So if someone give you $2 million, what would you do? Instead of going to Hawaii,
vacation.
Cancun,
Take a vacation. No, I think I would buy also
Property.
properties. Yeah,
like what, low end or high end?
I would do low end just because again,
What's your risk tolerance, low risk or high risk?
in the middle. Can it be in the middle?
Of course.
Yes.
There's,
You know,
there's
there-
a
That's
whole
what I usually do.
I'm like in the middle
Give me a name of an area
that I would probably.
that you will buy.
Probably yeah. To be on the safer side would be somewhere near Koreatown, LA, around there.
Where do you live now?
That's not mid.
Well, to
That's
be
like
like
7, 8,
free,
9. No, 7, 8. I should say Koreatown.
You mean the
Out of 10.
Oh,
out of 10.
If I were to give a score for an area,
Really?
but like yeah, Koreatown 7, 8.
you mean like the 10 being really the good area?
10
I would
being
agree, 7.58. Koreatown.
10 being what is it? Beverly Hills.
Oh.
On Friday night,
0 being Compton.
No, then I guess somewhere closer,
it's
to
happening.
Compton, I guess, in the middle.
South LA.
Probably South LA, yeah.
Okay, north of 50
Just
or
because-
south of 50th Street.
50? 50th Street?
Yeah, 50. I'm talking about like how bad it gets as you go down.
Of course.
Yeah, obviously I would want to stay in the middle. Maybe just 50, because there's different
40th,
kinds of...
50th,
Yeah.
60th?
But then we have a 6, no. We have
You're not gonna go down
property
to
as
60th?
No.
70th?
No. I don't want to
40
do
is not
it.
even too high.
Yeah. you're
Yeah.
right.
I
I'm
think
like,
like,
no.
I'll stay at like 30 something.
Yeah.
30 blocks
Yeah.
is good. That's where I stay too.
40 and
Yeah, you say 28, 30.
I don't go
29.
lower than 35.
Yeah, but problem is like the price will jump on like 40th and 50th and 60th in short coming years. It will
Yeah.
pop.
Yeah, but that's you're gambling then. Because now
Yeah,
you're
but you
just
have
hoping
to-
on a
I
pop.
don't know.
I mean, I just don't want to buy
You have
the
to adapt
area
to the change.
where I don't want to drive to. You know what I mean?
It's
It
gonna be
has
a
to.
harder. It's gonna be a harder sale. It's gonna be a harder sale than on 30th.
Or if you're gonna hold it,
No. Even if you're reselling it, it was gonna. There's less buyers out there. Now you're hoping for a
Yeah.
pop in the market. You're pretty much gambling. You're not doing your.
watch. In 3 years, you're gonna wish that you invested on the 70th and 80th.
You could say that.
70th and 80th,
You could,
right?
in 3 years, you can everywhere you buy a property today,
You're-
it's gonna
you're
be
gonna
worth
want
more
it,
money.
yeah.
I mean,
That's not
why-
true. That's not true. South LA jumped $100,000 a year. Nowhere jumped $100,000 a
What are
year.
you talking about? Highland
But
Park.
he's saying that the market, the price
Is
is
it
so low.
everywhere in Los Angeles jumped $100,000 a year.
Okay. Anywhere in LA?
Most places in LA,
No. Not as much as increase in South LA.
bro.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
a very
There are
good
some little
They're
pockets.
expensive.
Yes,
If you look
that
at
grew a little bit
Koreatown,
more.
if you look at Koreatown, it didn't jump $100,000 a year.
There's no way they can jump that much.
It
was
can't
already-
because it was higher. already.
Exactly. South LA jumped
Yeah.
$100 to $150,000 every year.
But there is not gonna. It's not gonna exceed a certain level. Also,
4 years ago, we were selling single-family homes in South LA for $400,000 to $500,000. Now it's up at $800,000,
Almost 9.
and
What's-
almost doubled.
What street are we referring like?
We're talking about what 30th, 40th.
34th. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean even 60th.
I don't invest to hopefully have a pop in the market and stuff like that. I invest to on each property individually, and the location and everything in the time that I'm investing in it. I don't hope for a 3-year pop if I'm holding. I don't even hold properties that long.
I'm
You
a
know what I
fortune
mean?
teller. Watch me. In 3 years, you're gonna wish that you had property on the 70th Street,
And to 80th.
60th, 70th Street. You're gonna be seeing
I'm not
million
sure
dollar
I'm
homes
going to
in
use
3 years.
this to my client.
No, I think every
And that's
house
what I
would be
exactly
million
said on
dollars.
the 40th and 50th 3 years
Okay,
ago.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40th and 50th is still very happening for some buyers.
And the more increase, the more chance of that them going down further also. You know what I mean? Like Jefferson Park and all that increased the most in the last time, but it also decreased the most in this time of uncertainty.
Sure.
So I mean, like there's give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah, you it's gambling
The
if you're
market
just trying
changes
to
all the time.
catch the market. You know, like at a certain peak, because no one will ever predict. any
What I'm
market.
looking at is San Jose like area.
Yeah.
If you go to San Jose area, okay, within an hour and a half range, there is nothing under $1.3 million house. Nothing within an hour and a half range. I'm talking. So let's say
Are you going more north or are you going south?
anywhere within an hour and a half range
From
in San
San
Jose,
Jose.
nothing under $1.3 million. The reason why that happened is because there was such
Tech
an
boom.
influx of buyers that it just pushed out everybody. If they weren't making, let's say, the $2 million, like $500,000 a year, then they had to be pushed out to outskirts, and that created a job market where the labor are needed in the middle of San Jose, but they have to be almost get imported. Like these people are traveling an hour and a half to 2 hours from outskirts to come into San Jose and work and go back.
But does people live in San Jose? Don't they go to work in San Francisco?
They do that too.
Sometimes,
Right,
yeah.
because San Francisco
I
is
live
so
out there.
high, so they're doing the same thing.
Right.
They can't
That whole
afford
area
the house in
boomed
San
big,
Francisco. That's why
bigger.
San
Yeah,
Jose
it
became
was, it
really
was,
Yeah.
it was
I
definitely
live
a
over
boom.
there for 5 years.
Oh,
Right.
And yeah, it's gonna happen everywhere. The longer amount of years we talk about, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, everything is up. Every single thing is up. That's what history has told us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the long term, everything is gonna steady go up. So if you're investing in real estate, any year, down, up market, anytime, there's always you know,
Gonna be
potential.
something.
So eventually, what I'm saying is there's not going to be such a bad area within an hour range from central LA, is
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
everything's gonna get better, of course.
But-
And the worst is the best to gain, is what he's saying.
Whatever the good areas there are right now, they'll get better, but the worst
Worst
area
areas
will
will
jump even higher.
gap will
is
be
what I'm
much
saying.
higher. You think so?
Definitely,
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
But you're also taking on more headache. Your risk tolerance has to be much higher.
Exactly.
So I mean, there's a different whole ball game. Like that $2 million investor that's come in and says, "I don't want a headache." He doesn't
about
want to do that. You know what I mean? He wants something safer in a better area where it's gonna be easier to manage.
I think we also need to talk about leverage, right? When they say the $2 million budget, if you have it in cash, or do you still want to get a loan?
Absolutely.
You know, I think that's something very important. in
We can talk about that next time. That's a very good topic.
Leverage.
that way. How do you
Of
want to use
people
that $2 million?
people using cash versus leveraging their money. Can you put that down for next podcast? Because
Absolutely.
look, I've talked to investors that tell me like, "Hey, I got $10 million and I have 10 properties and I own them all." And what I say to that person in my head, because I don't want to be rude, is that is the stupidest investor I've ever talked about. Let's leave like that, and we'll say why that guy is stupid. You know, at the next episode, that guy that spent $10 million to buy 10 properties and he owns them outright. Why is that guy
It's
stupid?
clear, you mean?
Yeah, not stupid. He's great that he got the $10 million. It's great that he has 10 properties. But what I could do with that $10 million, or what someone that understands about leverage can do, rather than what he did, and how much more can that person, you know,
Believe it or not, some people don't like that.
that stress.
Right.
It's their risk tolerance at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They give them stress. People don't like stress.
Okay.
All right, guys. Then we'll see you next week
With leverage.
with leverage.
Make sure-
Bye.